Hello students. So today we are going to start a new method which is Gauss-Seidel iteration method. Previously in this topic of system of linear equation we have completed total 3 methods. One is Gauss elimination, then Gauss Jordan, and the last class we have done Gauss Jacobi, and today the last method from this topic, that is Gauss Seidel iteration method. Now Gauss Seidel method and Gauss Jacobi method are almost same. If you are familiar with the Gauss Jacobi method, you know how to find the roots, what is the iteration formula, what is the diagonally dominated. If you know all about this, then Gauss Seidel is one of the easiest for you. So first of all we will see what is the working rule of this Gauss Seidel iteration method. So similarly here we suppose, let us consider a system of equation. We will consider 3 equations: a1x plus b1y plus c1z equals to d1, a2x plus b2y plus c2z equals to d2, a3x plus b3y plus c3z equals to d3. So this will be a system of equation given to you. From this system of equation you have to find the roots by using Gauss Seidel iteration method. Now the first thing is that here also you have to find whether this system of equation is diagonally dominated. I hope now you will understand what is diagonally dominated. Okay, so that is simple. Again we have to find that from the first equation we will see that what are the diagonal terms here. These are the diagonal terms. In respect of that, mod of a1 for the first equation will be greater than the sum of the other two, that is mod of b1 plus mod of c1. From the second equation we will see that what is the diagonal element here, b2, that is mod of b2 will be greater than mod of a2 plus mod of c2. And from the third equation we will find that what is the diagonal element, c3, mod of c3 will be greater than mod of a3 plus mod of b3. So this is all about of the diagonally dominated condition. If this condition is satisfied, then we say that the system of equation is diagonally dominated, and if this condition does not satisfy, then we have to make the given system of equation diagonally dominated. And we know how to make, just reshuffling the equations, rearranging them and make them diagonally dominated. It's very easy. In the x column you will search which is the highest one, make that equation first. In the y column you will search that which is the highest for y, make that a second equation. In the third, for the z, you will search which is the highest coefficient of z and make that the third equation. This is a simple procedure to make the diagonally dominated equation. Now the changes comes in terms of iteration formula. See what are the changes. Okay, so this is a system of equation. So similarly in the Gauss Jacobi, here also we will assume the initial approximation as x0 equals to 0, y0 equals to 0 and z0 equals to 0. This is our initial approximation. This same we have assumed in Gauss Jacobi. Now in Gauss Jacobi, from this equation we find our x, y, z. Here also we are going to find our x, y, z. So from the first equation we are going to find our x. So I am writing it directly. From here you will get your x as 1 by a1 d1 minus b1y minus c1z. Let's keep some space. c1z. From the second equation we have to find y, so I'm directly writing that y, just simply taking these two terms to that side, then divided by 1 by b2 d2 minus a2x minus c2z, and the last one z from the last equation, that is we have to find this z, so we will take these two terms to that side and 1 by c3 will come in front, that is 1 by c3 d3 minus a3x minus b3y. Clear? So this is the iteration formula, but now there is a difference. The difference is that in Gauss-Jacobi we are writing that here x to the power k plus 1 k k, y to the power k plus 1 iteration, then a number of step, x to the power k, z to the power k, z to the power k plus 1, x to the power k, y to the power 1. This we have done in Gauss-Jacobi. Okay, but Gauss-Seidel method is a cyclic method. Gauss-Seidel method is a cyclic method. That's why in this Gauss-Seidel method the number of iteration steps are much lesser than compared to Gauss-Jacobi method. For Gauss-Jacobi method, suppose a question is given to you and you are solving a question by Gauss-Jacobi, you will find that while solving the question with the help of Gauss-Jacobi method, the iteration has went up to 9th or 10th step. But in case of Gauss-Seidel method, as this method is a cyclic method, you will find that the number of iteration is like that 4 step, maximum to maximum 5 step, and you will get your answer. Why? Because this step is a cyclic step. Now I will explain what is about the cyclic here. First of all, we will start with the x, so we will write x as k plus 1 iteration, as we write in the Gauss-Jacobi, and this is our kth step, this is our z is kth step. Now when we have to find y, we will give it as k plus 1th step iteration. Now here remember one thing very carefully, while finding y we have seen that this x. Now what we done in Gauss-Jacobi, we directly put x0 equals to 0, initial first iteration step, I am talking about the first iteration step. X0 we put 0, z0 we put 0, but here in Gauss-Seidel method we will put the value of that x what we get in this step, particular step. That means here we are going to use k plus 1, because already from the previous step we have find our xk plus 1, so we will put the value of xk plus 1. While finding our yk plus 1 term, in the previous step we have find our xk plus 1 term, so directly we will use this value in this step for finding yk plus 1. Here the cyclic use is come. Now for z, see, for z we have not find anything about z, so here we are going to write for z as kth step. And for the last one, for finding this z, now here the x, in this iteration procedure we have already find our x k plus 1, so we will write here x k plus 1 iteration step, and also we have find our y k plus 1 iteration step, so we have put here k plus 1. Got it? That means in a same step, suppose we are dealing with first iteration, you have find it here x1. Okay, I give you some example. Suppose you are dealing with first iteration, that is putting k equals to 0. Okay, so you have find it here x1, k0 means this is our 0, this is our 0, so we have find it there. By putting, what is y0? Y0 is 0. What is z0? Z0 is 0. So after that we get our d1 by a1, and that after division we got that value. Now here putting k equals to 0, we will get here y1. Now here in Gauss-Jacobi what we are doing, in Gauss-Jacobi, we are putting here z0 x0. This is we are already done in Gauss-Jacobi, but not in Gauss-Seidel. What we will do, in Gauss Seidel, already in the first iteration we have find x1, so we are going to use this x1 value here. So this will be our x1, but still now we doesn't find any z value, so it will remain as 0, and we will put x1 value, we got this value, we will put it here. Z0 value we have assumed at 0, so we will put that. Now lastly for z, putting k equals to 0, it will become z1. Now in this iteration step we have already find x1, so we will use that. See, putting k equals to 0, it will become x1. Putting k equals to 0, it will become x1. So you can see that already we had find x1, we use that value here. Already we had find y1, in the same step we will use here y1. So here the cyclic procedure works in Gauss Seidel. Rest everything is same, diagonally dominated procedure of solving the question, everything is same, just a little bit change in the iteration procedure. Clear? So this is all about Gauss Seidel method. Now it will be more clear to the concept if we solve some numericals regarding this method. So let us start with solving one numericals of this Gauss Seidel iteration formula. Okay, the question is solve the system of equation by Gauss Seidel iteration method. X plus y plus 4z equals to 9, 8x minus 3y plus 2z equals to 20, 4x plus 11y minus z equals to 33. Correct up to 3 significant figure. If you remember this question I have solved same question for Gauss-Jacobi method, and you have remember that for that method I am supposed we have proceed up to 8 iteration, and here you will find that we will get our answer in 3rd iteration step only. Okay, so first of all, for the solution part, what we have to check, whether the given system of equation is diagonally dominated or not. So let us write the solution. So from the first equation we can see that the diagonal element is 1. The diagonal element is 1, and this y coefficient is here 1 plus another term is 4, and which is not greater than, because this is 1 and this is 1 plus 4, 5. So this 1 is not greater than 5, so that means this given equation is not diagonally dominated. So we have to rearrange this given system of equation to make diagonally dominated. So we will write like that: the given system of equation is not diagonally dominated as mod 1 is less than mod 1 plus mod 4. It should be greater than, but here what is happening, it is less than, so it is not diagonally dominated. So we rearrange the given system of equation as okay. So we rearrange the given system of equation as. Now how to rearrange? It's very simple. First of all, for x, see which x has the highest coefficient. This is 1, this is 8, this is 4, this is the highest, so we will make this as equation number 1. So 8x minus 3y plus 2z equals to 20. Now search for y. Which one has the highest? This one is 1, this one is minus 3, this is 11. 11 is the highest, so we will make this as the second equation, that is for y. 4x plus 11y minus z equals to 33. And now obviously the first equation will become the last one, or you can also check z coefficient. Here is 4, here 2, here minus 1. The highest one is 4, so that will become the last equation, equals to 9. So this is the system equation after rearranging we get, and this equation is diagonally dominated. You can check that also. After that we'll write which is diagonally dominated. Okay, so now from first equation we have to find x, from second equation we have to find y, and from the third equation we have to find z. So let's write that. Okay, so now we write the iteration formula. So we write the iteration formula as, now from here we have to find the x. That means we will take this two term to that side. So x I'm directing directly because now you can find easily. Taking these two terms directly, and what is the coefficient of x? 8. So it will comes in the form of division. So you will write 1 by 8 20 plus 3y minus 2z. Just taking that two terms to that side. Now for y, from the second equation we have to find y. So that means these two terms will go to that side. So that is y equals to 1 by 11 33, what is here, 4x. So that side means minus 4x plus z. And the last one, from here we have to find z. So we will write that z equals to 1 by 4 9 minus x minus y. So we have find that. Now what we do, we will give the iteration formula, that is a step. So for x, here we have find the x, so this is our k plus 1 iteration, and this is our y, the first one initially k, z, k. Now here y means k plus 1 iteration. This side always will k side, k plus 1. Now here x. Now you can see that first we have find x, so this x will be your k plus 1. You have find x, so for finding y, and for finding y we have seen that there is a term x, so this x will be k plus 1. But still now we does not know what is the value of z, so it will remain as k only. And here the last one, z equals to k plus 1 iteration. Already we know the value of x, that means this will be our k plus 1, and y, we know the value of y, we have find this, it will be also k plus 1. Clear about the iteration scheme or formula? This is the important part. If you are able to construct this, after that everything is simple, just putting the values and nothing else. So after that we will write, okay, so we take initial approximation as x0 0 y0 0 z0. This is fixed. Now the first iteration, that means putting k equals to 0. Now here putting k equals to 0, we will get x. Let's start from here with putting x1, putting k equals to 0. I'm just putting k equals to 0. This side 1 by 8 20 plus 3y 0 minus 2z0. Now what is y0 z0 value? 0 0. That means these two term vanishes. So what remains? 20 by 8. And what is the value of that? 2.5. Then y1, that is putting k equals to 0. Putting k equals to 0. So 1 by 11 33, what is here, minus 4x. No, x, we have already find x1, so we will use here x1 minus plus, now what is there, z. See, we don't know about z value till now, we don't know any z value, z1 value, so we will use here z0. Clear? There the changes comes. So 1 by 11 33 minus 4 x1, what is the x1 value we had find? 2.5. Let us put that value 2.5, and z0 value we know that is 0. So after calculating we get 2.5 0909. Okay, so we got our y1. Then z1. Z1 is 1 by 4 9. So finding z, we use two terms, one is x, another one is y, but in this iteration we have already find x and y, so we'll write here x1, same formula, putting k equals to 0. Just see, putting k equals to 0, 0 plus 1 1, minus y1, that is 1 by 4 9 minus x1. What is x1 value? 2.5. y1, what is y1 value? 2.0909. So what we get after solving this? 1.1023. Okay, so this is all about first iteration. Now we go for the second iteration. I hope it will covering this space. Okay, second iteration, that is k equals to 1. Okay, so now putting k equals to 1 here, 1 plus 1 2, that will be your x2, 1 by 8 20 plus 3y1, k equals to 1, minus 2 z1. So that is 1 by 8 20 plus 3 into y1. What is y1? This is your y1. See, y1 is 2.0909 minus 2 into z1. What is your z1? This one. That is 1.1023. Okay. So after simplifying, you will get here x2 as 3.0085. Just after calculating, this is your 1.1023 z1 value. It will is visible to you. Then y2. Okay, now y2, k equals to 1, 1 plus 1 2, 1 by 11. Now what is the formula? The same formula. Now here x will be 2, because why? Because already we have find our x2. So if we will put here 4 x2 plus, so till now we don't know about z2, so we will use our previous z1. That means putting k equals to 1, simply putting k equals to 1. So now for x2, what is x2 value? 3.0085. z1 value from the previous one, 1.1023. After calculating, we get y2 as 2.0062. Okay. Now then z2, that is putting k equals to 1, 1 plus 1 2. Now here 1 by 4 9 minus k equals to 1, 1 plus 1 2, y2. Now putting x2 and y2 value, that is 1 by 4 9 minus x2 is your 3.0085, y2 is your 2.0062, and after calculating you will get your value z2 as 0.9963. So see, we have get our x2, y2 and z2. Now next step, so we have find the third iteration. I just done the rough calculation. So third iteration, that is x3, you can see that by using the same formula, putting k equals to here. Third iteration, putting k equals to 2, that is 2 plus 1 3, using the same formula, in place of k putting 2, that is y2 z2. So y2 value from here is 2.0062, z2 value from here 0.9963. just putting, you will get here 3.0032. then y3 formula, putting k equals to 2, you will get here x3 and here z2. See, we are putting k equals to 2, remember 2 plus 1 3, x3 and here z2. Now x3 value, we have now calculated x3 value, so we will put that value here, and z2 from the previous iteration we will get our z2 value. So after putting the value and calculating, we got our y3 as 1.9985. And now the last one, z3, that is putting k equals to 2 in the z formula. z3 minus 9 minus x 2 plus 1 x3 and y3, and x3 y3 value we have calculated now only, just putting the value we get. Now the same concept when we have to stop. We know that if the two successive steps have the same approximation value, then we will stop there. Now let us see that here. x3, what is the value? 3.00. See, remember the question demands for 3 significant figure. So what is the 3 significant figure here? 3.00. x2, what is the 3 significant figure? 3.00. Same. Here, y2, what is the 3 significant figure? 2.00. What is here? 1.9985. If you approx this, you will get 2.00. Because this is 8, if you add here, 9 will become as 10. Again add here, from 10 we cannot 10, so we will take 1 and then adding here, so it will approximately become 2.00. Clear? Now here 3 significant figure, 0.9963. if you approx this, you will get 1.00. because this is 6, again adding 1, 9 plus 1 10, 1 we have, so 9 plus 1 10, so 1.00. Similarly here, if you approx this in the 3 significant figure, it will become as 1.00. so these two values also same. So finally you will write, therefore x equals to 3.00, y equals to 2.00 and z equals to 1.00. So see, we got our answer in the third iteration step, while in Gauss-Jacobi we have to go up to 9th or 10th iteration. So this is a difference. In Gauss-Seidel method we use the cyclic procedure, so that's why the number of iteration procedure is decreases. So this is all about the Gauss-Seidel method. Just if you get how to make this iteration formula, then everything is simple for you, and this is one of the scoring unit from out of your syllabus. So I hope you will clear about the Gauss-Seidel method. If you have any question regarding this particular method or anything regarding the previous methods, you can ask me. I will try to resolve that. So till now we have completed our this system of linear equation full unit. In this unit we have covered up all the four methods. In the next class we will proceed with another unit. Till then, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.